distributors, retailers, and customers who have the recalled product should stop use. The CDC says the EzraCare artificial tears were most commonly used across 4 healthcare or hospital systems. Experts tell Scripps News the cases are a stark reminder for anyone from the healthcare setting to home.
Wash your hands, okay, and use a warm washcloth. Wipe your eyelashes clean, because sometimes we have bacteria on our eyelashes and crusting that can be on the eyelashes there.
Meanwhile, Clara Oliva's waiting for her day in court. Her lawsuit includes the companies behind the tears, plus her health insurance and the hospital where she was given the drops. So if you are someone watching and you think you may have these particular drops, first thing, throw them out, get rid of them. And you also want to be on the lookout for things like eye discharge, redness, blurry vision, pain, light sensitivity, those sorts of things. Those are some of the symptoms and signs that are linked to this very specific eye infection. Also, make sure to call your eye doctor or 911 if you do have an emergency. Lindsay Thies, Scripps News, San Francisco.
And I heard a loud bang and crash, and I came out and opened the front door, and it was just a total disaster everywhere.
Today, natural disasters seem like a common occurrence in our world. In 2022, there were 18 U.S. natural disasters that cost at least $1 billion in damages and repairs, according to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. It was the 3rd most expensive year for disasters in American history.
We are currently in the debris management, debris collection stage of that, but lots of homeowners have impacted. What was unique about this tornado, and this will be our 5th one in about 15 years.
The February 2023 tornado in Norman, Oklahoma did not cross the $1 billion mark, but its impact is still being felt weeks later.
I think the city of Norman will probably have about $1.6 million, $1.7 million in just city of Norman public impacts of dollars.
The Federal Emergency Management Association has funds to help out these communities when a natural disaster occurs, but there is a process. FEMA states any request must be beyond the capability of the state.
A threshold of damage that the city, the state, and then the presidential declaration happens for federal funding before you are eligible. So invariably, of those 19 events, I'll bet maybe 8 of them have actually qualified for federal funding. The rest of them, we've been on our own. The governor still has not declared a disaster, so I'm having doubts that it's going to happen.
In a place like Norman, Oklahoma, where FEMA funding is unlikely, the cleanup costs fall on the local community, which is why it's important that these communities have money stored away and a plan for when disaster hits.
Norman, we do have a rainy day fund in our regular budget for whatever might happen, whether it's a storm or an IT, breakdown or something of that nature. So we do have rainy day funds, or a savings account, if you will, that is there for this purpose immediately. Our citizens need help right now. We can't wait for the federal dollars or other grant funds. But there's really no hesitation for us. We jump right in and get the work done.
Thomas Hoppo, Scripps News, Norman, Oklahoma.
Hey there, Southwest Florida. I'm meteorologist Lauren Petrelli with Fox 4. We have a hot Friday ahead of us. We're already starting to feel it, with temperatures ranging from the upper 70s to the low 80s. Clouds and radar sweeping across nice and clear, so don't count on any rain to cool you down. Honestly, we really have hardly a cloud in the sky. Today's winds eventually becoming more southerly, anywhere between about 5-10 miles per hour. It's the heat that you'll be focused on for today. Highs today capping out near 88 degrees.
I'm going to take you inside an incredibly sacred space, one of the few remaining monasteries.
Well, tonight, a death investigation in Cape Coral leads to the discovery of 2 people dead inside a home. Fox 4 is live with the latest from the scene.
Live from Fox 4, this is breaking news.
And we begin tonight with that breaking news in southwest Cape Coral as police tell Fox 4 they found a man and a woman dead inside of a home.
Detectives now working to confirm their relationship as this death investigation is active, happening right now as we speak. We'll get right out to Fox 4's Caitlin Knapp, who's been on the scene of this since the morning, and we can still see investigators with that presence in the area. Caitlin.
Yeah, investigators have been out here all day taking pictures and bagging evidence, and you can see that the home is still surrounded by crime scene tape. This is near Skyline and Pine Island. They've been here since around 9 this morning, but very few details are known at the moment. Cape Coral police did confirm a man and a woman are dead. However, the circumstances around the deaths are not known. The landlord of the home showed up and gave us a little bit of insight, telling me that the tenants have always paid their rent on time and have lived here for a little bit less than a year and just really never having any issues. We don't know the names of the man or the woman and whether or not the people that died are the tenants or not, but neighbors also tell me that they've never seen anything out of the ordinary here.
I go by the house all the time. I don't really see anything much. I know the garage is normally open.
It's not clear who discovered the man and the woman inside the home. We are told family members of the victims have been notified, but their identities are not being released right now. As you can see, it's still a really active scene. The medical examiner's office took away the man and the woman's body about 2 hours ago to perform an autopsy. We're hoping to get some more information from Cape Coral Police over the next few days, and we'll be sure to bring those to you as they become available. Reporting live in Cape Coral, Caitlin Knapp, Fox 4.
And shifting to people getting all set to enjoy the outdoors this weekend. Take a look at your screen. The Department of Health has lifted those red tide alerts across several Lee County beaches. Some of those spots have seen high levels of red tide going back to January.
And now we're going to shift now to our weather, because we've been checking the red tide conditions now for the last several weeks. And thankfully, as beautiful as it is, that red tide is also subsiding.
As Fox 4 certified meteorologist Katie Walls joins us, we like the yellow, we like the blue.
Exactly. Definitely seeing some big improvements here over the course of the last 1 to 2 weeks. And we tend to see this. We expect it. These blooms, they tend to last a few weeks. Some can last up to a few months. But we are absolutely seeing improvements. And one thing that we do here at Fox 4 in the Weather Center, we are always looking at where the active blooms are located. And right now, we don't have any active blooms off of the Sarasota or Charlotte County coastline. So fantastic news. We are not concerned about concentrations to affect any beach plans for you there heading through the next 36 hours. So this is your forecast heading tonight into tomorrow. But once you hit once you hit Lee County, that's when we start to see some of those lower concentrations. So we do have a little bloom sitting right here from Boca Grande Pass down to North Captiva, parts of Sanibel, another little bloom just to the south of Sanibel, as well as Pine Island Sound, unfortunately, we do have a couple of blooms in that area, but for coastal Collier, big improvements as well. As for South Marco, another little bloom sitting just offshore, so low concentrations are expected there in the cautionary zone as we head into tomorrow. Otherwise, the big story, the heat, and we'll dive deeper into how that heat could impact your weekend plans coming up.
All right, Katie, thank you. Also, if you still need help getting some of that Hurricane Ian debris off your property, well, you have just 5 more days to sign up for debris removal through the state, as that deadline to sign up is March 29th. This is next Wednesday. So for those of you who live in Lee, Charlotte, DeSoto counties, qualifying debris also includes lost or displaced cars, vehicles, even boats from waterways or private property. For more information here, you can call the number on your screen. Help is available in English and Spanish. You can also find all of this information at iandebriscleanup.com.
Very fun afternoon in Charlotte County at the Port Charlotte Town Center Mall as the first Charlotte County Sheriff's Expo gets underway.
So many kids love this event. Families love coming out. The Charlotte County Sheriff's Office does tell us the family-friendly event gives the community an inside look at the Sheriff's Office, and it allows residents to engage with deputies in a positive way. Community relations is what it's all about. Fox 4's Shari Armstrong is live there at the Port Charlotte Town Center Mall. And Shari, what can people expect if they come to the event? I imagine something pretty cool.
Oh yeah, a good time. And speaking of something pretty cool, I actually want to show you this. We're seeing different units of the Sheriff's Office out here today at the Port Charlotte Town Center Mall. What you're looking at, obviously, is the aviation unit. I was just speaking with them, just working to get an overview of what they do, what people should know. I asked them, I said, hey guys, what is something about the unit that people should know? They said, we do a little bit of everything, just like the deputies. In fact, they're getting ready to take off very soon because there is a brush fire in North Fort Myers, they tell us, near Slater Road. They're about to actually go help with that fire. As Karen pans over, you can see there are units from all over Charlotte County. We've got the agriculture unit, but also this is not just the Charlotte County Sheriff's Office that's out here. Florida Highway Patrol, Lieutenant Greg Bueno is out here hanging out with us this afternoon. We work very closely with so many of these agencies to get information to you, but also this is not just about the agencies, it is about organizations here that help serve people in our community. I want to introduce you to Holly. Holly is from the Peace River Search and Rescue, and we were talking, and Holly, you were telling me how you and these canines work so closely in our community to help find people. Tell us a little bit about what you guys do.
Yes, so we are all volunteers. Our dogs find live and deceased, presumed deceased people. So we do a lot of search and recovery.
And can you tell me the best part about what you do? I know you were a volunteer. This is something that comes from your heart. What is the best part? What is that moment like when you are able to reunite a family or have moments like that with these canines?
It's a great feeling because, you know, we work hard to get to the point where they're able to find people and bring closure to families.
I can't imagine what that's like. So, guys, as we revisit you guys later for Fox 4 News at 6, look at this face. This is Lucy, by the way. She is so sweet, and clearly she works hard and closely with this organization and the Charlotte County Sheriff's Office to help save lives in our community. Now, coming up at 6, you probably saw me holding this bag, and you were like, I know Shari didn't bring her chips into her live shot. You are correct. Actually, I'm going to take you inside during Fox 4 News at 6 because we're showing you outside, but inside of this expo, there are all types of great resources for you, like this one. The other day, I was cleaning out my medicine cabinet, and I was like, what do I do with all of these medications? Well, I learned today that you can actually connect with one of these groups here in Charlotte County, get one of these bags, and I'm going to show you how it works to break down that medication, and they tell us it actually breaks it down, neutralizes it into a more organic state that is therefore then beneficial to our environment. It doesn't hurt it, and of course the animals that thrive off of our environment as well. Lots to see here at the first ever Charlotte County Sheriff's Office Expo. Of course, one of my favorites right here, but for now I'm going to send it back to you guys. Oh no, not this. We can just do this. Live in Charlotte County, Shari Armstrong, Fox 4.
Oh,
yeah,
so much to see, Shari.
Good job, Lucy.
Thank you. We'll check back in. Puppies on a Friday. I mean, it's the best, right? Also, pickleball. This is a sport that is growing in popularity right here in Southwest Florida, and it's also growing now in Cape Coral. The city is a lot closer to now becoming a pickleball destination in the state of Florida. The city actually celebrated the groundbreaking for the Lake Kennedy Racket Center. This center will be home to 32 pickleball and tennis courts. Once completed, it will be one of the biggest courts in the state. The center will also include covered seating, a pro shop, and a concession stand. The racquetball center is expected to be completed in about a year.
At least we've also got one Florida school for the Elite Eight of the NCAA men's tournament. Florida Atlantic. The Owls rallied in the second half last night in New York City to knock off Tennessee 62-55 in the Sweet 16. The Owls are now 34-3 after 3 tournament wins, the first time they've ever won in the NCAA tournament. FAU will play tomorrow against Kansas State. Winner goes to the Final Four. But one other Florida note as Miami plays tonight against top seed Houston.
Well, if you are looking for plans maybe tonight or this weekend, the Fort Myers River District Music Festival actually happening right now. It just kicked off an hour ago at downtown at the corner of Hendry and Bay Street. There's live music, food, arts, and crafts for sale. Festivities are going on until about 10 o'clock tonight, but if you can't make it, this is an all-weekend event as you see here. Tomorrow, the festival from 11 to 10, Sunday from 11 to 6, and here's the best part, admission is free.
The Consumer Product Safety Commission wants to get warnings out to the public faster when products are dangerous or deadly. Right now, the law requires the agency to consult with manufacturers before sharing details with the public. The agency's chair tells NBC News he wants Congress to repeal that law. The Peloton recall in 2021 is just one example of how this has had an impact. The company pushed back against a recall on its treadmills amid the death of one child and a serious brain injury of another. It later apologized to the agency for doing this. The people behind those pesky scam calls about your car's extended warranty will face a lifetime ban for making telemarketing calls to possible customers. It's part of the FTC's lawsuit against the group whose company was called the American Vehicle Protection Corporation. Americans lost millions of dollars to the scam. The company will also be banned from the extended car warranty industry. Retailers are redesigning free shipping so they can keep the feature without draining profits. This comes as shipping rates are going up along with the cost to make a product. For us, that just means the charge will be distributed in other places on our order. For example, Amazon is adding fees for faster service and raising the minimum for what you have to buy to get it. Repairing an appliance instead of replacing it can save you money. And to make this easier, the Federal Trade Commission is currently considering requiring manufacturers to provide customers access to repair instructions.
Go to the manufacturer's website, you'll just get the use and care manual. And even the professionals have trouble getting the right documentation. That's key to being able to determine, like, am I going to need to hire a professional? Could I handle this myself? Is it, a complete totaling of the device that I need to replace it? That's key information for consumers.
A recent investigation by nonprofit US PIRG and other consumer repair groups looked at 50 appliance makers. 86% of the companies didn't provide full repair instructions. It's even a problem for repair technicians. 89% of them reported having trouble getting access to the service manuals.
And we had the idea, and they do this in Europe, of putting a QR code on the corner of that yellow energy label where you could just go to that website, go to a website, and you would have the various pieces of information that would be, kind of resources for you to care for that product and repair it.
He's talking about the labels on appliances that give you the annual energy cost for a product. The groups have shared that recommendation about including the repair info on these labels with the FTC. More people are now using artificial intelligence like ChatGPT to find their new job. What to consider before using the tool for a resume or cover letter.
A bill that would make it easier to carry a gun in Florida is also making big moves in Tallahassee.
Ahead on Fox 4 News at 5, the latest on the permitless carry bill at the state legislature.
And when it comes to our drought, we are some of the driest counties in the entire state. Unfortunately, I expect these burn bans to potentially be expanded here in the coming days and weeks. We'll talk more about why our pattern is likely to stay fairly dry next.
This breaking news situation just into the Fox 4 newsroom. This is a look at I-75 in Lee County near the Charlotte County line. This is right off of Slater Road and I-75. This is about 3 miles north of the Bayshore exit. That's also Pine Island Road, State Road 78.
Yeah, and what we're talking about is a brush fire here. You could actually see fire officials on the left side of your screen here pulled over on the lane. It looks like the fire could be relatively close to traffic on I-75, causing a plume of smoke here. Here's what we know. This fire right now is only about a half an acre. Here they are pulling out right here. About half an acre, only 25% contained at this point. 3 tractor plow units already there. Local fire departments headed to the scene. We just heard Shari Armstrong over at the Port Charlotte Expo with the sheriff's office there. The helicopter was taking off to go help fight this fire. Again, a brush fire on I-75 just on the Lee County, Charlotte County line.
And again, this is just about 3 miles north of the Bayshore Road exit. So for anyone who's going between, say, North Fort Myers up to Punta Gorda on 75, you will encounter this until it's out.
Let's go ahead and switch now to weather, because we know it's been a gorgeous day, not a cloud in sight. But Chris, we have been talking about just the dry conditions and really no rain in our forecast.
And still seeing that red for Collier counties. We're bringing Fox 4 certified meteorologist Katie Walls. It's been a concern for really a long time now.
Exactly. So Collier County, the driest county in the state. In second place, we have Lee County, followed up by Hendry, then Glades. So yes, 4 of the driest counties right here in Southwest Florida. So no surprise that we do unfortunately now have severe drought conditions building in across most of Southwest Florida. And then even here in Charlotte, DeSoto, and Sarasota counties, very dry conditions that gradually are worsening day by day with the excessive temperatures as well as lack of rainfall. So what you're looking at right here, this is called the Keach-Byram Drought Index. It specifically measures the amount of moisture in the top 8 inches of the ground, that of course being the layer that tends to burn. So even though right now we're seeing our humidities up, which is great news for our firefighters, we're dealing with so much fuel available for those fires to burn. So that will continue to be our biggest concern. And also a friendly reminder, Lee, Hendry, and Collier all under burn bans because of these excessively dry conditions. As for a good soaking rain, could see a passing sprinkle tomorrow afternoon, but notice we're not really holding out much hope for a healthy soaking rain. 20% rain chance on Tuesday as a little front comes through. So beyond that 7-day forecast, what can we expect? We look to the Climate Prediction Center outlook, and as of right now, the first week of April expected to stay abnormally hot. But here's a switch up. This is great news. Toward the latter part of that forecast, so towards, say, April 5th, 6th, and 7th, we're starting to trend a little bit wetter. And that's certainly something that we hope will come to fruition. It's something that we absolutely need, because more of this, unfortunately, while it's great for outdoor plants, it is not great news for our drought and wildfire conditions. So live look now, focusing on the positive, just how beautiful it is with high pressure and control. Not a cloud in sight. Temperatures sitting at 86 degrees, well above normal yet again. Dew point, measure of moisture in the air, is sitting in the lower 60s. So that has now risen out of the 50s, now in the lower 60s. Winds are blowing out of the southwest around 15 miles per hour. For those of you heading out this evening, next couple of hours will continue to run in the lower 80s by 8 o'clock. We'll drop towards 78 degrees, then into the mid 70s by 10 to 11. The reason behind this particular dry weather pattern, strong ridge of high pressure that continues to dominate the Sunshine State, bringing us just that and helping to deflect any storm system from getting remotely close to Southwest Florida. So that's why our rain probabilities will stay so limited. And if we are lucky enough to see an isolated rain shower, it would likely be because of a little bit of a sea breeze developing. Let's take a closer look. So for tomorrow, mix of clouds and sun, and then a bit more sunshine expected for the afternoon. Also in the afternoon, that breeze will start to pick up. It will be gusty at times, expecting some gusts around 20 miles per hour. And then late in the day, specifically in our interior communities, that's where we could see an isolated shower develop. But even then, notice just how sparse any showers will be. Otherwise, just plan for that heat. Please stay hydrated. High temperatures once again just shy of 90 degrees, calling for a high around 89 with a mix of clouds and sun. Mostly sunny and even hotter for your Sunday. Looks like that 90 will stick around into the start of next week.
And Katie had mentioned at the top of the hour that red tide is subsiding. And even though it is for now, keeping our waterways clean is still a priority here in Southwest Florida. It's one of the many reasons people come here and visit. And of course, it brings a big economic benefit.
Leaders in Charlotte County estimate that Charlotte harbor tourism alone brings in $1.5 billion per year. There are several projects in place in Charlotte Harbor to restore clams and oysters to improve water quality. For example, a single clam will filter 5 gallons of seawater a day. And while filtering clams can remove algae and can remove nutrients from the water column, that could also feed harmful algae blooms.
And in addition to filtering the water, Dr. Melissa May with FGCU's Water School says the reintroduction of filter feeders just like this could be key in bringing back seagrasses and other species.
These animals are thought of as ecosystem engineers, so they're changing characteristics of the sediment, they're changing characteristics of the water, and by having them there, it's just going to draw back in everything that used to be here. So if you have more seagrass, you're going to have more manatees, you have more nursery habitat for fishes.
Dr. May says clams should take pretty quickly once they are seeded in the Charlotte Harbor, but it could take several years, however, before we really see the full impact of this project.
Fox 4 meteorologist Andrew Shipley will also break down the potential benefits of such projects. That's still to come on Fox 4 News at 6.
Different types of cancers can cause different side effects, but chronic fatigue is common among all types and is the #1 lingering symptom after cancer treatment. Now researchers at Ohio State's Comprehensive Cancer Center are studying whether food could be a solution to this.
Specifically, some of the nutrients that we are investigating are vitamin C, which is found in a lot of our fruits and vegetables, lycopene, which is found in most of our tomato products, carotenoids. Carotenoids is the nutrient that gives vegetables their yellow and orange and red colors. And then also certain B vitamins and of course our omega-3 fatty acids.
Researchers are still working to figure out exactly how these nutrients could make patients feel less tired. They think it may be related to anti-inflammatory properties and how the nutrients boost overall health. But in the meantime, they did prove that incorporating nutrient-rich meals each day is possible. They recruited 10 lymphoma patients who were 2 years post-treatment. All were able to follow meal recommendations from registered dietitians for 12 weeks.
It was really a stepwise process. So every week we focused on one food group and we made that our goal for the week. And then we would add to that. But people really felt better. And so that also encouraged and motivated them to stick with it.
As this work continues, she recommends checking out the American Institute for Cancer Research. They have a list of free healthy recipes recommended for cancer patients. Mushrooms can't actually turn people into zombies like in the popular show The Last of Us, but that type of fungi is real and a real threat for some bugs.
The cordyceps can infect their body within 3 hours of contact on the exoskeleton, so that's really quickly, just like in the show.
How scientists hope to use the fungi in the future to get rid of invasive species.
And still ahead here on Fox 4 News at 5.
More than a week after he was a no-show for his federal corruption trial, a Naples man still nowhere to be found, but now there's a supposed tell-all book. We've got the details next.
And temperatures today yet again well above average, not quite in 90-degree territory, but still well above that normal of 82. And that trend will continue into the weekend. We'll dive deeper into what you can expect hour by hour next.
Live from Fox 4, this is breaking news.
Breaking news in Lee County near the Charlotte County line. Take a look at this. These are southbound lanes coming at you on I-75 as fire crews are working to put out a wildfire at Slater Road and 75.
Yeah, and since we've seen you in the last 10 minutes, this fire has grown. It is now 10 acres, about 20% contained. It's grown from 0.5 acres, just a half an acre, to 10 acres in about 10 minutes. You see fire officials right here on the side of the road, actually on the emergency lanes, as it looks like the fire is pretty close to I-75 and clearly a plume of smoke. And Chris, this is impacting traffic.
And especially for the southbound lanes, as we pull up the map here where we can see the slowdown for this. And this is about 3 miles north of the Bayshore Road Pine Island exit, impacting both directions of traffic, as you saw there, but especially the southbound lanes. That's what we saw coming towards us on that camera that was back there.
And you can see it's at least a 2-mile delay or backup. This really coming at the worst time, Chris. 5:30 on a Friday, people trying to get to where they need to go after work for the weekend. And we will be keeping an eye on this for you, developing and breaking right here on Fox 4 News at 5. Also tonight is a Naples man. He's on the run as a national fugitive 11 days after he was a no-show for his federal corruption trial.
Roy McGrath is a former high-ranking official in Maryland accused of embezzling hundreds of thousands of dollars, taxpayer dollars. Tonight, Fox 4 Investigates has learned of a new twist in the mystery.
Investigative reporter Ryan Kruger joins us live with the details of a supposed tell-all book here, Ryan.
Yeah, so it's only 52 pages. It's only available electronically, but it hit the market this week and it quickly shot up the bestsellers list, all just days after Naples found itself in the center of that nationwide manhunt. Now, we showed you this video last week. It shows federal agents in tactical gear raiding the Naples home of Roy McGrath. He bought that home, public record show, in October of 2021, all while in the midst of these embezzlement allegations. McGrath was supposed to begin trial last Monday, but he hasn't been seen since. But this week, that tell-all book by a mysterious author portrayed McGrath as a victim of corruption. We couldn't get a hold of the author. Many people, though, including the former governor of Maryland, are all speculating as to the real identity of that author. Meanwhile, tonight, Fox 4 Investigates has exclusively obtained a phone call made from the FBI to local authorities. Coming up tonight at 6, you're going to hear the FBI why they say they are worried about McGrath's safety and why agents ultimately descended into Naples. Ryan Kruger, Fox 4 Investigates.
Thank you, Ryan. Florida could soon be a permitless carry state. The House gave a split vote earlier this afternoon after an intense debate between Democrats and Republicans, who are, of course, splits on this issue. Capitol reporter Forrest Saunders takes a look from Tallahassee.
The vote came quick Friday.
The clerk will lock the machine and announce the vote.
But the debate before it lasted more than 2 hours as members fought a war of words over permitless carry. While wrapped in public safety measures for schools, the legislation allows legal gun owners to carry concealed without the currently required permit or training.
My personal belief and what I hold dear is that I trust the people of the great state of Florida a whole lot more than I trust the government.
Republicans say they're seeking easier Second Amendment access without a government permission slip.
This is a God-given right, and what we're doing today is we're just upholding that right.
While Democrats...
Why are we making it easier for senseless gun violence?
Condemn the weakening of state gun laws only 5 years after the mass shooting in Parkland.
This is the most soft on crime bill that I've ever seen in my time in Tallahassee. We should not throw away public safety to pass an unpopular political agenda.
While the eventual vote was mostly along party lines, there were some Republicans who wanted more, the open carrying of firearms in the state.
I would vote for it, but I think we landed in a spot where we got a bill.
The House Speaker said he's in support of open carry as well, but noted it wasn't likely to happen, at least this year.
There's a lot of things I don't get as Speaker that I want, and I'm very, very happy that this bill moves us forward.
The next stop for permitless carry is Florida's upper chamber. The Senate could make a vote happen as soon as next week.
And from the state capitol to the nation's capital, today the Republican majority U.S. House passed the Parents' Bill of Rights Act. The bill would require schools to give parents a list of books and reading materials available in the school library. It would also make schools post curriculums publicly and administrators alert parents of violent activity on school grounds. Elementary and middle schools that receive federal money would also have to get permission from parents before changing a minor child's gender markers, pronouns, or preferred name on any school form.
Well, it was an emotional day for the family of Tyree Sampson. That is the 14-year-old Missouri teen who died after falling from an Orlando drop tower last year. Tyree actually died a year ago today. His father marked the day by placing balloons at Icon Park, once home to the 430-foot drop tower. The final piece of that ride was actually taken down earlier this week. Today, Tyree's family once again called for tougher legislation to make amusement rides safer. They are pushing for a new bill that would require the state to sign off on rides before they open. Also, a 16-year-old boy will spend the rest of his life in prison for the murder of his 13-year-old classmate in 2021. A judge sentenced Aiden Fucci at a St. Johns County courthouse today. Fucci was just 14 years old when police say he stabbed Tristan Bailey more than 100 times. He pleaded guilty to first-degree murder. His family asked the judge to give him the minimum sentence of 40 years, but the judge ultimately sided with the victim's family, again handing down that life sentence for that 16-year-old this morning. Also, a Naples man is behind bars after the Collier County Sheriff's Office says he flashed a fake badge and pretended he was an officer to another deputy. Deputies say Jack Bowles actually made his car look like an unmarked vehicle, as you see here. According to the Sheriff's Office, a deputy spotted him aggressively tailing other cars on I-75 and at one point started tailing the deputy who was also in an unmarked car. Once off the highway, both pulled over, and that's when deputies say Bowles actually told the deputy he was a retired officer from Mississippi and flashed a fake badge. Investigators say he was never certified in law enforcement in Mississippi. This man now charged with impersonating a law enforcement officer.
The U.S. launched a retaliatory airstrike after that deadly attack on U.S. personnel in Syria. The Pentagon says the strike hit a group affiliated with Iran's Revolutionary Guard that was in eastern Syria. This comes after an earlier drone attack on Thursday targeted a facility that U.S. personnel used in northeast Syria. An American contractor died, another contractor injured, along with 5 U.S. service members. The Pentagon says U.S. intelligence believes the drone was of Iranian origin.
The CDC and FDA are sounding the alarm as 3 people have now died from a bacterial infection linked to tainted eye drops. Others have gone blind or lost their eyes. Lindsay Thies has one patient's story and advice from experts on what to watch for.
The CDC and FDA are warning about bacterial eye infections from Ezra Care, which makes generic over-the-counter artificial tears. Now, it is common for someone who is a long-time contact lens wearer to have drier eyes eventually and to use something like artificial tears. Now, while these infection cases are rare, this type of infection can move fast in the body and has been deadly. A warning for the folks who may be squeamish at some of these medical images. We are going to show you a few pictures associated with these eye infections. These photos show 68-year-old Clara Oliva's eye infection after she used Ezra Care artificial tears. In a lawsuit, she says doctors surgically removed her right eye and now she's legally blind. We spoke with her lawyer.
She's a grandmother. She's a mother of 2. And these are supposed to be her golden years when she's enjoying life to the fullest and enjoying the fruits of her labor over the course of her life.
The CDC is looking into 68 cases in at least 16 states from May 2022 to February 2023. 3 people have died. 8 have gone blind. 4 people had to get their eyeballs surgically removed. The infections are caused by a bacteria called Pseudomonas aeruginosa. It can be common in hospitals or from sleeping often in contact lenses. The CDC says it's getting harder to treat the bacteria with antibiotics.
That's one of the most severe organisms where it can, once it gets into your eye, and within hours, it can penetrate inside your eye, penetrate into the blood vessels and get into the bloodstream.
Infections are primarily linked to Ezra Care artificial tears. They're manufactured in India and do not have preservatives, making it easy for germs to grow. The FDA has put an import alert on Global Pharma Healthcare, the company that makes the drops, citing problems with microbial testing and tamper-proof packaging. The FDA also warned about a Global Pharma Healthcare dry eye ointment in late February. The company's recalled both products. In a statement, Global Pharma Healthcare says they're, quote, notifying the brand owner importer of this product, Delsum Pharma, and is requesting that wholesalers, retailers, and customers who have the recalled product should stop use. The CDC says the EzraCare artificial tears were most commonly used across 4 healthcare or hospital systems. Experts tell Scripps News the cases are a stark reminder for anyone from the healthcare setting to home.
Wash your hands, okay, and use a warm washcloth. Wipe your eyelashes clean, because sometimes we have bacteria on our eyelashes from crusting that can be on the eyelashes there.
Meanwhile, Clara Oliva's waiting for her day in court. Her lawsuit includes the companies behind the tears, plus her health insurance and the hospital where she was given the drops. So if you are someone watching and you think you may have these particular drops, first thing, throw them out, get rid of them. And you also want to be on the lookout for things like eye discharge, redness, blurry vision, pain, light sensitivity, those sorts of things. Those are some of the symptoms and signs that are linked to this very specific eye infection. Also, make sure to call your eye doctor or 911 if you do have an emergency. Lindsay Thies, Scripps News, San Francisco.
All right, Lindsay, some great tips there. More than a year into the war in Ukraine, refugees in the U.S. are giving back.
I am so proud to help refugees. I smile when people smile too.
The role she and others are playing in helping those displaced by the war. Topping the newsfeed, taking Paxlovid is proving to reduce the risk of developing long COVID. The new research in JAMA Internal Medicine found people who took the antiviral had a 26% lower risk of long COVID. Scientists hope this information will encourage more long COVID research. Meat products are causing more urinary tract infections in Americans than scientists first thought. A new study from George Washington University finds 8% are caused from E. coli in meat like chicken, turkey, and pork. That's about 500,000 infections a year. Instacart is expanding its healthy food initiative, the company announcing today it will give medical providers more digital tools to promote more nutritional choices. Instacart says it will also partner with health systems and colleges to study the impact food as medicine programs have on patients.
Workers at Walt Disney World, referred to as cast members there, may be in line for a pay raise.
And it's not a small one. The problem is, though, is that employees, they are going to have to wait a while before they're going to see these raises take any effect here. So according to the Walt Disney World Company, most cast members will get a 37% pay raise. This equals to about $3. The pay raise likely, though, won't hit until 2026. But for the minimum wage for Disney World, it will jump to $18 an hour this year as well, because the union was able to negotiate a raise until then. Well, Florida's chief financial officer has labeled the state as the boating capital of the world. CFO Jimmy Petronis' new proclamation says that since the Palm Beach International Boat Show brings in over 55,000 visitors a year, the event brings in big tourism spending as well and supports over 6,000 jobs that rely on boat shows like it. We have similar boat shows right here in Southwest Florida. And Petronis says for this reason, the state has solidified itself as the boating capital of the world. The proclamation also says that over 1 million water vessels are currently registered in the state of Florida.
New questions about a consulting firm that aims and claims to keep politics out of state school boards.
So coming up on Fox 4 News at 6, why some are saying the firm actually does the exact opposite.
And heading out this evening, mostly clear skies are expected overall, feeling very comfortable and feeling more like May. We'll dive deeper into that in your 7-day forecast coming up.
And back to that traffic slowdown here on I-75 from the FDOT cameras. The southbound traffic coming at you in Lee County, just off of North Fort Myers, as crews are trying to put out that wildfire at Slater Road and I-75.
And you can see just the smoke here on 75 again. We are looking at the southbound lanes. That smoke clearly causing some visibility issues, because you can see the moment that traffic slows down. What you can also see in this image is fire officials right on the emergency lane. It looks like that brush fire is coming up pretty close to the highway. So this one has grown pretty quickly over the last hour. It is now up to 10 acres, about 20% contained. The cause is unknown right now, but of course Fox 4 is continuing to follow this and what this means for traffic as well.
As we take a look at just the slowdown for this, you can see it especially for the southbound lanes on 75. And as you notice from the video, anyone who's going north on 75, you will also notice that smoke going over the roadway. Anyone going from Bayshore, that's the Pine Island Road exit, State Road 78 up to Punta Gorda, you will encounter this until it's out.
And turning to our weather now across Southwest Florida. For those of you heading out this evening, we are expecting very tranquil conditions. So heading into the next couple of hours, gradually we will be dropping those temperatures a bit, but overall shaping up very nicely. Coastal look now from the Luminary Hotel across the Caloosahatchee River. We are enjoying high pressure. That's why temperatures have been so hot. And so long as this ridge of high pressure strengthens, we are literally seeing air sink, and as it sinks, it warms, and that's why we are seeing those temperatures so toasty outside, running in the upper 80s, close to 90 degrees in many communities. Even right now from the Luminary Hotel in downtown Fort Myers, we're sitting at 86 degrees. That dew point is in the lower 60s, and thankfully we do have a bit of a breeze out of the southwest, around 15 miles per hour. So again, heading out this evening, really shaping up nicely for any outdoor plans you might have, maybe for a night out on the town. Temperatures at 9, 10, and 11 running in the mid-70s. Here's that giant ridge of high pressure basically protecting us and diverting any storm system from getting anywhere close. So that's why, unfortunately, our rain chances will stay pretty minimal. Let's take a closer look, though, at where we might be able to squeeze out an isolated rain shower over the weekend. So hour by hour, 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, mix of clouds and sun forecast. Then a bit more sunshine expected for the afternoon. Also, your afternoon will be a bit breezier, so do expect some gusts 15 to 20 miles per hour. Otherwise, hot temperatures will prevail. And basically, the only opportunities for showers that we will see here in the coming weeks will basically be because of a sea breeze picking up. So once we have a little bit of a sea breeze kick in tomorrow afternoon, we could see an isolated rain shower in some of our interior communities, but even then, notice those showers few and far between, especially compared to what we truly need here across Southwest Florida. Looking ahead to your Sunday, it does look like we're going to be starting off with areas of fog. So heads up, we could see some slowdowns for Sunday morning travel. Otherwise, heading into Sunday afternoon, 20% rain chance once again in the mix, especially to the east of I-75. So farther inland, again, that's where we could see the opportunity for a passing rain shower late in the day. But again, those rain chances, unfortunately, running at just 20% both Saturday heading into Sunday and overnight tonight. We obviously are staying dry. We don't have any clouds out there. We're at 68 degrees for tomorrow morning in Fort Myers. We'll start off around 66 in Punta Gorda, 65 for Arcadia, and farther south for Naples, we'll start off the day around 70. High temperatures continuing to run well above average. So again, mix of clouds and sun tomorrow. The opportunity for an inland afternoon rain shower, and it will be breezy at times. We're looking for a high around 89 or so in Fort Myers, 86 for Naples. Farther inland, hotter temperatures, Immokalee, LaBelle expecting those highs around 90. Palmdale, Arcadia, close to Moorhaven, calling for high temperatures in the lower 90s. So please stay hydrated. Certainly mind this heat because your Sunday is gonna be even hotter, my friends. And it looks like these warm temperatures will kick off next week as well. Could see a passing rain shower on Tuesday. Otherwise, we continue to stay hot and mainly dry through next week.
The first season for the popular show The Last of Us, where mushrooms turn people into zombies, just wrapped up. You may not realize that this type of mushroom from the show actually exists. Vanessa Mashanya shows us the role they play.
Well, I don't know about you, but I love a good zombie trope, and the latest one that everyone is talking about involves a fungus infecting humans, taking over their brain, and turning them into zombies. Well, the fungus in that television show is actually a real thing. It's called cordyceps, and I'm on a college campus right now because one entomologist just explained it to me that cordyceps are not the monster that this television show portrays them to be, and they're actually quite beneficial to us humans, especially when it comes to agriculture.
See, vicious tarantulas, right? So dangerous and aggressive.
Maya Holmes is big on changing minds.
I frequently say everybody likes insects, they just haven't figured it out yet. I'm Maya Holmes. I'm the Outreach and Education Coordinator for the Department of Agricultural Biology at Colorado State University. You uncomfortable with cockroaches?
At her university's bug zoo, her resident arthropods work as her ambassadors to open others up to the fascinating world of entomology, or all things bugs. Recently, this world and the world of pop culture has collided and has been throwing a lot of questions her way.
I talk to people about entomology for a living, so I'm always excited when people want to talk back to me about it. As long as people are able to separate the, fun scary from, actual being afraid of things.
Thanks to the hit HBO show The Last of Us, cordyceps have been getting a lot of attention. In the show, there are species of fungi that take over the brains of humans, throwing humanity into a dystopian spiral. The thing about cordyceps, though, is that they're real. But their targets are not us.
They burrow their way through that sweet exoskeleton that arthropods have and then hijack their nervous system. It does really happen in arthropods. It doesn't necessarily happen in anything else. So vertebrates, not going to be infected by cordyceps at any point.
We could thank our extremely complicated nervous system for that. See, bugs don't have a brain like we do, and the way their bodies work makes them very susceptible to be turned into one of the infected. Take ants, for example.
The cordyceps can infect their body within 3 hours of contact on the exoskeleton, so that's really quickly, just like in the show. They will break away from their sisters trying to find food and crawl up and over and then latch their jaws onto something so they hang over the trails. And over the course of the days, that's when the cordyceps will make a fruiting body, which is a mushroom, and it will come out and then develop and then drop spores all on the path of those ants.
But as bad as they are for bugs, these fungi are actually very beneficial to us. Maya says there are many different kinds of cordyceps, and each type only impacts one species of bugs, which makes cordyceps a really powerful pest control tool for both agriculture and home use.
You can get the spores for those cordyceps that affect ants and termites and use those and not have to worry about it impacting anything else in your house. It's much better to be able to have a one-to-one treatment where you say, I have this one insect and I'm going to use something that only affects that one kind of insect. So cordyceps is so cool.
She says there are scientists right now working on developing cordyceps for different invasive species, harnessing their zombifying power to get rid of bugs that don't belong in certain environments, like the notorious spotted lanternfly, and leave indigenous species alone. As far as cordyceps ever making the leap to be able to crack our complicated nervous system, Maya says we are going to be just fine, and hopes that the new spotlight encourages others to get into her field.
There's so many different weird, cool little stories about our planet that you can tell through entomology and mycology. So I think it's really exciting and fun.
Vanessa Bashania, Scripps News, Fort Collins, Colorado.
All right, Vanessa, thank you. Well, that's going to do it for us today. I'm Michelle London. Fox 4 News at 6 is next.
Detectives descend on a Cape Coral neighborhood tonight after 2 people were found dead inside of a home today.
We don't normally have any issue.
The latest on the still active investigation into the mysterious deaths.
And the solution for dirty water in Charlotte Harbor may be clams. Why the county says dumping millions of clams there could clear things up.
And a Naples man is still a national fugitive tonight, 11 days after the FBI raided his home. New phone calls obtained by Fox 4 Investigates are helping us learn what agents were looking for.
Live from Southwest Florida, you're watching Fox 4 News at 6.
We have a lot of breaking news at the top of Fox 4 News at 6 tonight, so thank you for joining us. I'm Nadine Yanis.
And I am Chris Earl. We start off with what we've been tracking in Cape Coral since this morning. Fox 4 has had a crew present in this neighborhood where police confirmed finding a man and a woman inside of a home.
This is right off of Southwest 12th Street near Skyline and Pine Island Road in Cape Coral, and that's where Fox 4's Caitlin Knapp has been since this morning. And Caitlin, we know that detectives were there. We see the crime scene tape still behind you. What do we know tonight?
Well, really beyond that, we don't know much other information coming from the Cape Coral Police Department. We do know that a man and a woman were found dead inside this home that you can see is still wrapped with crime scene tape. But again, very few details have been released from the Cape Coral Police Department as they investigate. Here's what the scene looked like a few hours ago. Crime scene tape had been surrounding this home since 9 this morning. Saw investigators walking in and out with evidence bags, taking pictures of the entire area. Beyond what I saw, again, no other details about what exactly happened are known. A neighbor tells me he drives by the house and usually sees the garage open with the gentleman inside working, but nothing out of the ordinary.
I don't really see anything too different from the normal going on over there anytime I pass it. So it's really quiet over here. We don't normally have any issues.
The landlord of the home showed up and gave us a little bit of insight, telling me that the tenants have always paid their rent on time, have lived here since November, really never having any issues. But to be clear, we do not know the identities of the people found inside of the home, whether they are the renters here or if they were just at the home visiting. Again, not much information is known at this time coming from the Cape Coral Police Department. We are hoping to get more details over the coming days. Once we do have that information, we'll be sure to bring it to you. Reporting live in Cape Coral, Caitlin Knapp, Fox 4.
Thank you, Caitlin. Now looking at this situation you're seeing coming at you, southbound traffic on I-75 North Fort Myers near the Lee-Charlotte County lines. It's coming from a brush fire. The Florida Forest Service says the fire is about 10 acres, about 20% contained, but look at the impact in both lanes of traffic on I-75.
You can actually just see the plume of smoke impacting visibility, and it is causing traffic backups really at the worst time possible. Friday afternoon, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, where you're taking a now look at the Fox 4 traffic sensors that do show the slowdowns on I-75. Again, near mile marker 146, that's North Fort Myers, just on the Lee-Charlotte County line. Several mile backup here, as we just saw on those traffic maps. So if you know anyone maybe headed south through Lee County, you want to tell them to avoid this way. And, you know, obviously we'll keep an eye on this because visibility low in that area.
One of the situations, maybe if you can take 41 to get around it, but if you're on 75 to North Fort Myers and Punta Gorda, you will encounter this.
And this is something that we have been keeping a close eye on. We know that we've been in a drought situation here for several weeks as we bring in certified meteorologist Katie Walls.
That's right, and unfortunately those severe drought conditions continue to worsen here across Southwest Florida. The latest data in yesterday now showing most of us in that severe drought, and where we're not, we're in moderate drought. So when we're talking about brush fires, we're especially focused on the wind gust, and anytime those winds gust above 20 miles per hour, that's cause for concern. So it's not much of a surprise that we did see what was just a half-acre brush fire quickly spread to 10 acres right there at Slater Road and I-75. So if we look right here, some of those peak gusts ranging anywhere from 16 to 24 miles per hour. If we interpolate the two, we can estimate those peak gusts right there, right around 20 miles per hour. So that's going to be a big hindrance as our firefighters continue to get this fire under control. And do remember, friendly reminder, while that fire might not have been started by one of us on purpose, just remember we are in that burn ban, so it is illegal right now to burn yard debris, Collier, Hendry, into Lee, and especially when we're talking about these gusty winds and very dry conditions. That fire danger index, this is for tomorrow, will stay moderate to even high in isolated areas. We'll talk more about this when we could squeeze out an isolated rain shower in that 7-day forecast coming up.
Thanks a lot, Katie. And those waterways, a destination for all of us. But the recent bouts of red tide and also cleanup from Hurricane Ian has so many people focusing on the state of water quality. Right now, there are numerous projects in place to improve water quality in Charlotte Harbor.
It is such a priority for our area. Fox 4 meteorologist Andrew Shipley spoke with experts about how now clams and oysters could be the key to restoring our local ecosystems.
The state of Florida groups are reintroducing clams and oysters into our waterways. While once abundant in numbers, Dr. Melissa May at FGCU's Water School says these natural filters will improve water quality and restore other important ecosystems at the same time.
Take anything that's in the water out of it. So whether that's plankton, to some extent they could take out nutrients. And so they help to really clean the water, so to speak.
That filtering can be seen in this sped-up video from University of Florida. Within 2 hours, the right side of the tank with clams is almost clear. A single clam can clean 5 gallons of seawater per day. Dr. May is currently working on a grant project that will reintroduce clams and seagrass back into Charlotte Harbor. Dr. May says clams and oysters in the past were seen in much larger quantities.
You couldn't even navigate through the Caloosahatchee because the oyster beds were so thick.
Dr. May says unfortunately humans played a role in their disappearance.
Either because of human activity or overharvesting in the case of the clams, that their populations have dropped off.
With red tide still fresh in our minds, Dr. May says it's still unknown how much impact the introduction of clams will have on it.
Cleaning up the water, there's going to be less material like nutrients in the water that could help fuel those red tides.
Clams remove nutrients from the water and place it into sediment. And with nutrient-rich soils and improved water clarity, clams could help spark the return of seagrasses.
These animals are thought of as ecosystem engineers, so they're changing characteristics of the sediment, they're changing characteristics of the water, and by having them there, it's just going to draw back in everything that used to be here. So if you have more seagrass, you're going to have more manatees, you have more nursery habitat for fishes.
Dr. May says clams should take relatively quickly once they are seeded in Charlotte Harbor, but it could take several years before we know the full impacts. In Charlotte County, meteorologist Andrew Shipley, Fox 4.
Multiple bills moving to the governor's desk this week.
A few of them could have some major impacts on Floridians like you. So later this hour, we are breaking down the bills now moving to the governor's desk for final signature. Plus,
this is going to be huge for our area.
We see it all over. Pickleball courts also coming to Cape Coral after the break. Why city officials say the new racket center near Sunsplash could make Cape Coral a premier destination for the growing sport. Now here's an update, a live look from the FDOT cameras as we see from that brush fire. Visibility appears to be getting a little bit better, especially in the southbound lanes. That's the traffic coming at you for I-75 about 3 miles north of the Bayshore Road exit. The Florida Forest Service says this brush fire from North Fort Myers about 10 acres at last report, but you can still see the slowdown for the traffic in both directions.
Yeah, and that smoke billowing, but just a little bit lighter, so hopefully that's some good news. Maybe it's clearing up now, but it is impacting traffic really at the worst time. Again, as Chris mentioned, this is in North Fort Myers on I-75, right on the Lee-Charlotte County line, and you can see it is backing up traffic. That red there means there are major slowdowns, and really right at rush hour on a Friday afternoon. So you're going to want to make sure you are cautious if you are planning on going in or around this area. 41 is an option for you to go around. At the same time, we're keeping an eye on this, especially trying to see when and if the fire's put out. Also happening right now, the Charlotte County Sheriff's Office is hosting a family-friendly event at the Port Charlotte Town Center Mall. The Sheriff's Office tells us the expo is a way for the community to have a positive interaction with deputies, and the kids love to see this kind of stuff, Chris.
And that's where we also find Fox 4's Shari Armstrong, where people of all ages love to see Shari. But we're also told that other Charlotte County agencies are there as well. Hey, Shari.
Hey, Chris and Nadine, good afternoon. Southwest Florida, you might have just seen there are kids all over the expo today. This is the Charlotte County Sheriff's Office first expo. It's an opportunity for them to connect, for us to learn more about different units. During Fox 4 News at 5, you got to see the aviation unit and the helicopter take off from right outside of the Port Charlotte Town Center Mall. These guys are from the Charlotte County Jail. You guys can wave to Southwest Florida on camera this evening. And it's pretty cool because you mentioned kids and how this is a family-friendly event. You actually get to see some of the items that have been confiscated within the jail here. It's kind of an up-close perspective here from different units. Thank you guys so much. And as you walk down here, you can see there are different organizations like the Charlotte County Sheriff's Employee Assistance Fund. And I mentioned to you guys a little earlier about how there are different agencies out here. We talked about Florida Highway Patrol, FWC, of course, the Charlotte County Sheriff's Office. But I wanted to make sure that I show you drug-free Charlotte County because, yes, these bags we were talking about during Fox 4 News at 5. And this is Diane. Diane, we spoke a little bit about if you have those prescription drugs in your home and you're wondering how do I properly dispose of them, this could be an answer for you.
Exactly, and it makes them organic. It takes it back to biodegradable material, so all you do is you put your pills or the liquid in here, add water, zip it up, there's a zip, shake it and toss it, and it becomes biodegradable. No more getting it in the groundwater in our beautiful harbor and estuaries. It becomes biodegradable and perfectly safe.
And quickly, Diane, you mentioned this other program, the safe storage, safe disposal program.
Just about every law enforcement office around the state will have a medication take-back box, and you can take large amounts. This may only take a few pills, but then you can take large amounts to your local law enforcement and put them in the take-back boxes. So call your local law enforcement and find out.
Diane and April here, one of the organizations. Again, this is not just about the Charlotte County Sheriff's Office, but it's also about connecting with other agencies. One thing that I thought was very interesting was the mental health unit, just under a year old, a new unit that has become part of the Charlotte County Sheriff's Office, addressing those calls that are mental health based. So that unit is here, and again, we are learning so much. This is such a family-friendly event. It is going on till 7 o'clock, so you still have time to get out here at the Port Charlotte Town Center Mall. For now, live in Port Charlotte, Shari Armstrong, Fox 4.
Thanks, Shari. It's a sport that's taking over. It's all over. We see it all over. You hear it all over. It is pickleball.
That's right. And today, Cape Coral actually took a step closer to becoming really a premier destination for pickleball players. The city officially broke ground on the new Lake Kennedy Racket Center right here off Lake Kennedy Drive. And for some perspective, that's right near Sun/Water Park.
So the center will be home to 32 pickleball and tennis courts. Once finished, it will be one of the largest court areas in the state. The center will also include covered seating, a pro shop, a concession stand, and local pickleball players hope that Cape Coral will become that focus, a destination for future tournaments.
Our sport has grown so much that tournaments, we have over 1,000 players in tournaments. And so we need more than the 16 courts. We need more than 20 courts. We need more than 24. 24 is probably the smallest that we can hold a big tournament, but having the 32 courts can be a major tournament. And with the hotels going in and the other amenities that Cape Coral has, this is going to be huge for our area.
The Racket Center is expected to be done in about a year, and it's one that the parks was approved for Cape Coral's GO bond. The bond is a $60 million expansion of the Cape Coral parks and recreation amenities.
Now, on this Friday afternoon, we've been keeping a close eye on a brush fire that's impacting traffic on I-75. Our meteorologist, Andrew Shipley, who happens to be a wildland firefighter as well, is out at the scene. And so this is a shot of what we're seeing at Meadows Drive near Slater Road. This is in North Fort Myers. And Chris, in the background, you see that smoke billowing.
And for Slater and 75, that was where we've been showing you where the FDOT cameras have been for the last hour on this. But again, to give you a live look of what the situation is like right now.
And certified meteorologist Katie Wall says the way that we would describe this is hazy at this point. No word, though, if that means the fire is contained, but it looks like conditions are getting a little bit better. We're watching the winds closely, Katie.
Oh, absolutely. And firefighters for sure. Basically, anytime the winds gust above 20 miles per hour, that presents an extra problem. Keep in mind, when this fire first started, it was only around a half an acre, but within about a half an hour, it grew to roughly 10 acres and obviously causing some visibility issues there on I-75. So thankfully we are seeing improvements, but look at these wind speeds right here. Near where we have that fire right now, we have wind speeds anywhere from 15 to 24 miles per hour. So we can estimate the gusts there are right around 20 as well. Plus, you factor in the heat. It has been exceptionally hot. That, of course, helping to evaporate any moisture that we might have lingering on any sort of ground level. So 86 this afternoon for Punta Gorda, 87 in Naples. We hit 88 in Fort Myers. Not quite in record territory at our three major spots, but regardless, it is causing our drought conditions to worsen. Right now, Southwest Florida, the driest part of the state. Collier County, the driest county in the state. Lee County in second place. In third place, we have Hendry. Fourth place, we have Glades. You get the point. It is very, very dry. We could definitely use that rain. All of us here in this orangey tan color in severe drought, and here in the peach color up toward Arcadia, DeSoto, across Sarasota. That's where we have moderate drought conditions. So while, of course, we're hoping for some rainfall, it's great news for weekend plans. So let's dive deeper into that. For tomorrow, we'll start things off in the upper 60s, lower 70s, mostly sunny skies. And we are expecting lots of sunshine heading into the afternoon. It will continue to stay toasty. Mid to upper 80s are expected, and very similar to this evening. Tomorrow evening also staying in the lower 80s before dropping into the 70s once that sun sets. Perhaps you're heading to the beach. Also some great news. We continue to watch those red tide blooms dissipate, especially near coastal Sarasota and coastal Charlotte counties. We're just not seeing those concentrations present any longer. Excellent news there. But unfortunately for Lee County, that's where we do still have some of those blooms that are active. From Boca Grande Pass to Pine Island Sound down to Sanibel, we have a little bloom right here off southern Sanibel that we're also monitoring closely. So that's kind of our problem spot right now for parts of Lee County. But as we look down to Collier County, seeing some big improvements from Bonita Beach all the way down to Naples Pier. We're expecting low concentrations for tomorrow. Right here, there's another little bloom just to the south of Marco Island. So we could see low cautionary levels for tomorrow at South Marco Beach. But otherwise, overall, big improvements. If you're hitting the water, here's what you can expect tomorrow. A bit breezy at times. We'll see some gusts in the afternoon, upwards of 20 knots. Gulf seas expected 1 to 2 feet. Moderate chop for those inland waterways and bays. For your Sunday, lighter winds are expected and only a light chop expected for your Sunday afternoon. But don't forget that sunscreen. We are expecting highs right around 89 degrees. Be sure to stay hydrated. If we squeeze out an isolated rain shower, that would be farther inland. Even hotter temperatures on the way. Looking ahead to your Sunday.
Thanks, Katie. Now in 11 days since a former Maryland official with a home in Naples is still out there somewhere.
And tonight we have a better idea why investigators are searching for Roy McGrath. Coming up, the exclusive phone call the FBI actually made that Fox 4 Investigates now has. We have a listen after the break.
Oh, got you. Okay, so this is Ivory. Okay.
Yeah.
And also, still ahead in Fox 4, why this undercover operation in Florida is helping to cut down on poaching across the world.
Well, the Humane Society of the United States said an undercover investigation revealed the sale of suspected elephant tusk ivory across right here in Florida.
And that investigation ran all of last month, and now Julia Salamone from our Scripps station in Tampa, WFTS, is showing us what they uncovered.
Video shot by the Humane Society of the United States shows a wildlife biologist undercover visiting numerous cities looking for ivory in stores across the state of Florida.
It's kind of wavy. Oh, got you. Okay, so this is ivory. Okay. Yeah. So it's kind of wavy.
The Humane Society says the investigation took place in February and revealed more than 350 items for sale suspected to be carved from elephant ivory.
The pieces, which include napkin holders, trinkets, ivory necklace, earrings, bracelets, cigarette holder, you name it. Some of them were labeled ivory, some of them were labeled bone, some of them didn't have a label.
The investigator visited stores across the state, including Tampa, Largo, and Clearwater.
It is hard to find ivory anymore. It is? Because it's illegal.
Ivory is kind of hard to sell. You have to have a paper trail.
Oh, okay.
Because it's illegal.
The Humane Society of the United States says during the investigation, sellers were unable to produce documentation verifying age and origin of ivory, which is necessary to determine if the items were imported in violation of federal law.
In the U.S., under federal law, it is illegal to import, export, or sell ivory across state lines because elephant populations are dwindling, because it's extremely cruel to source this ivory.
The Humane Society of the United States would like to see more states implement a state law banning the intrastate trading of ivory, meaning prohibiting sales within the state. Currently, 13 states have a similar law. Florida is not one of them. Julia Brerin with the Mayaca Elephant Ranch in Manatee County says most of the poaching happens in Africa. Elephants are killed for ivory and its tusks, putting the entire population at risk.
As long as people keep purchasing ivory products, such as jewelry, ornaments, statues, the legal market will continue the poaching. So that's why the importance is so high about raising awareness and educating others.
Animal advocates urge people to learn more about the endangered species, saying a trinket is not worth extinction.
Well, new phone call recordings are now giving us a better idea of why a home in Naples was raided by the FBI.
FBI agents still searching for the man who lives there. After the break, new details we are uncovering from an FBI phone call.
And there's a consulting firm that Sarasota Schools is now considering bringing in to keep politics out of the classroom, but it could be doing quite the opposite. We're going to tell you more about the controversy within Sarasota Schools after the break.
It's not often the FBI is calling 911.
I am calling to see if I could have a welfare check.
But this is a call the FBI made to Collier County Sheriff's Office last week, looking for a Naples man, now a national fugitive. Tonight, Fox 4 Investigates tells us what they were looking for.
Sarasota school board members want to hire a consulting group that says it takes the politics out of the classroom. But tonight, new information shows it may do the opposites of that.
Still breaking right now. Crews are still working on that brush fire in North Fort Myers. We've definitely been seeing this off of I-75, just a few miles north of the Bayshore Road exit.
Yeah, we've been keeping an eye on this for the last hour and a half here on Fox 4 because it is causing slowdowns on the interstate, even smoke at one point covering the interstate. At last check, this brush fire was 10 acres wide and only about 20% contained. So Fox 4 meteorologist Andrew Shipley, also a certified wildland firefighter, he is now on scene there. Andrew, what can you tell us right now?
You know, and obviously the fire continues to burn. You can see the smoke behind me here, but I'm at the corner of Slater Road and Meadows Drive here, and you can see the Lee County Sheriff's Office does have this road closed off here. And what they are doing is this line of cars to my left, they're checking identification of the residents there to let them through. So this is only open to local traffic here on Slater Road. But latest we are hearing is, again, that 20% containment, but what we were told earlier by the Forest Service is this was only a very small, about a quarter-acre fire earlier today, and then as the winds picked up, they did have a small spot fire, which then grew into what you're seeing out there right now. And they're also dealing with a hurricane debris blowdown. We saw that a couple months, about a month and a half ago, there up along Pine Island Road this year. That really kind of locking in that fire there. So they are calling in some heavier equipment. We have also seen some aerial drops from a helicopter onto that blaze. So obviously, as we continue to get more information, we will bring that for you. But in the meantime, in North Fort Myers, meteorologist Andrew Shipley, Fox 4.
All right, Andrew, thank you for that update. Again, Slater Road closed only to local traffic. Well, Roy McGrath, a former high-ranking Maryland official, skipped out on his corruption trial last week. Well, tonight, Fox 4 Investigates is learning more about why federal agents raided his Naples home in a neighborhood last week.
Fox 4 Investigates Ryan Kruger joins us. And Ryan, you obtained a phone call from the FBI about this.
Yeah, Chris, it was a welfare check asking for Collier County Sheriff's deputies to check on Roy McGrath after he did not show up for his first day of trial. The FBI agent made it clear she was worried about whether or not McGrath is even still alive.
Collier County Sheriff's Office.
The call came soon after Roy McGrath was a no-show in federal court.
I am calling to see if I could have a welfare check.
An FBI special agent worried for McGrath's safety.
He doesn't have any kind of violent criminal past, but we are concerned he may have committed suicide at this point.
Has he ever stated anything like that, or?
No, but he has zero criminal history.
McGrath, the former chief of staff for former Maryland Governor Larry Hogan, is charged with embezzling hundreds of thousands of taxpayer dollars. His trial was supposed to start March 13th. Since then, the U.S. Marshals Service has started a nationwide manhunt with Naples in the epicenter. Robert Desiano, who runs Naples News Now, captured this video of the raid.
Tell me what you saw.
There was, like I said, a bunch of cars, about 8 or 9, and then they got out of the car, and there was definitely automatic weapons drawn. They had the shield, too.
McGrath wasn't home, and now, 11 days into the manhunt, no one has seen him. But adding to the mystery, this week, a tell-all book shot up the bestsellers list. Betrayed, the true story of Roy McGrath is a 52-page book full of accusations about Maryland politics. The author, Ryan C. Cooper, claims to have worked with McGrath, but some are speculating to his real identity. Even McGrath's former boss, Larry Hogan, suggested as much when his spokesperson sent out this statement saying, "In this day and age, anyone can publish a book and repeat bizarre and baseless accusations, including fugitives from justice who are facing multiple counts of fraud."
And that FBI agent said in the phone call that McGrath's lawyer is the last person to speak with him, but that was March 12th. 12 days ago, still no sign of him tonight. Ryan Kruger, Fox 4 Investigates.
Thank you, Ryan. Collier County deputies arrested a man that they say was not only impersonating a police officer, but lied about being a former officer as well. This man is 51-year-old Jack Bowles, who was intimidating drivers along I-75. Investigators say Bowles was driving in a Dodge Charger retrofitted with lights, antennas, a radar, and a laptop mounted inside. Deputies say Bowles was following other cars dangerously close to try to intimidate them. At one point, an off-duty deputy pulled alongside Bowles, who flashed a badge at the deputy. Bowles then cut in front of the deputy, forcing them off the road. Bowles told the deputy he was a retired officer from Mississippi, but further investigation revealed that he was never a licensed officer and had never worked for any of the agencies he claimed to have worked for. He's now in the Naples jail facing felony impersonating an officer charges. Tonight, new questions about Florida school boards sneaking conservative Christian values into its public schools.
This after Fox 4 Investigates, Katie Legrone discovered one school board is now looking at hiring a consultant that claims to help boards keep politics out of the classroom. But as she discovered, there's a lot more going on beneath the surface here.
At a recent school board workshop in Sarasota,
I became aware of this service and I wanted to bring it forward.
Board Chair Bridget Ziegler brought up the idea of hiring a board consultant.
Really to have someone to help us with certain things when it comes to keeping us away from the fire.
The board, which flipped from predominantly Democratic members to Republican in August, has become known for its fiery meetings, board bickering, and politically charged public feuds.
It's been distraction after distraction, and I don't want to continue that.
So Ziegler proposed hiring help from Vermilion Education. If you've never heard of them, you're not alone. Vermilion Education helps school boards ensure an accurate and high-quality education for their students, its website states, with principles that tout transparency and how students should not be used by political parties or ideologies. It may sound like just what many drama-ridden school boards in Florida could use.
Unity is one of my top priorities.
Until you take a closer look. Turns out the 3-month-old company, which vaguely describes services ranging from guidance and communication to audits, was founded in Hillsdale, Michigan. Its resident agent, Jordan Adams, a former civic education specialist at Hillsdale College, the same conservative Christian college the DeSantis administration wants to recreate at Sarasota's new college. But it has also widely been criticized for pushing biased and politically driven curriculum. In fact, Adams' resume includes helping Hillsdale open publicly funded classical education charter schools, including some in Florida, and creating Hillsdale's controversial 1776 curriculum. Last year, we discovered Adams was also paid by Florida to review math textbooks for prohibited topics, including critical race theory. Do you understand that that might look a certain way?
I think my focus, again, whether it looks away or not, is about getting the distractions out and making sure that our instructional material for all of our students is appropriate and in line not only to the standards, but to the expectation of our families.
Ziegler, an original founder of the conservative group Moms for Liberty and whose husband was recently appointed president of Florida's GOP, wouldn't say exactly how she heard of Vermilion.
Well, I work in education circles and certainly was brought forward to my attention.
While she dismissed concerns that hiring the company could be viewed as inviting conservative Christian values into Florida public schools, she does see classical education as an opportunity for all students here.
Why is it a bad idea to either consider how can we take pieces of that would align to our mission as a public education institution, that wouldn't imply any indoctrination of anyone's ideology, but get back to the core classical components of academics? I think it's worth looking into, and it sounds like the board also agrees.
To bring this into Sarasota County schools at this time, I think is a huge mistake.
Tom Edwards is the board's only Democrat and was recently targeted by the governor and Florida's GOP as a liberal school board member to defeat in the next election. Edwards sees Vermilion's Hillsdale ties as a way to further divide a school board already at odds.
Frankly, I was waiting for something like this.
Really?
Can you imagine? I sit next to the wife of the chair of the Republican Party for the state of Florida.
But if this consultant can ease those tensions, remains as unclear as its services. Even those convinced they can help can't quite explain how.
Again, this is a very beginning, early discussion, but I'm all done, so thank you.
Despite multiple calls and emails, neither Jordan Adams or anyone from Vermilion Education has responded to us. One interesting fact, the word vermilion is actually a color, a vivid, bright shade of red. I'm Katie Legrone reporting.
And now back to that breaking news of that brush fire we've been following for North Fort Myers. Here's a different look from the FDOT cameras. This is about 2 or 3 miles away from the start of the brush fire. You're looking at the southbound traffic going away from you towards that brush fire. You can really see the impact on traffic.
And this, again, is right on the Lee-Charlotte County line near North Fort Myers, as Chris said. Now, the backups, you could see it's clearly impacting traffic on both sides, both northbound and southbound. Now, when we had that other shot earlier where the smoke was billowing pretty heavily there, it does clear up once you reach that smoke, but you could see it is hazy. It is impacting some visibility. It actually looks a lot better than it did within the last hour. Our meteorologist, Andrew Shipley, is out there. He's a wildland firefighter, keeping an eye on us as well.
But still, it's part of that 15-mile stretch where there are no other exits between Bayshore and Tucker's Grade, so you're stuck in it if you're in it.
Let's go ahead and bring in certified meteorologist Katie Walls. Oh, actually, we'll be right back.
Workers at Walt Disney World, of course, there are thousands of them, will be in line for a pay raise.
Yeah, they're known as cast members, and this raise is not going to be a small one. The only problem is, though, is that these employees are going to have to wait a while before seeing any of these raises take any real effect. According to the Walt Disney World Company, most of these cast members will get a 37% pay raise after striking a deal with the union. This comes out to about $3 an hour. The pay raise won't hit them, though, until 2026. But the minimum wage for Disney World will also jump to $18 an hour this year, thanks to previous negotiations. This follows months of cast members calling for pay raises in an effort to keep up with rent and inflation here in the state of Florida. Also, Florida's chief financial officer has labeled the state as the boating capital of the world. CFO Jimmy Petronas says this new proclamation is this because the Palm Beach International Boat Show brings in over 55,000 visitors a year. The event also brings in big tourism spending and supports over 6,000 jobs that rely on boat shows just like it. For that reason, Petronas says the state has solidified itself as the boating capital of the world. The proclamation also says that over 1 million water vessels are currently registered in the state.
Florida Power and Light says nearly 6 months after Ian, it's still committed to helping build back after the storm. FPL says it's still connecting customers back to the grid. FPL says even this month it helped the first businesses in the Times Square area of Fort Myers Beach get back with power thanks to new underground power lines. As the storm season also approaches, FPL is reminding customers to visit fpl.com/storm for tips on how to better prepare a home or a business for the upcoming 2023 storm season. Also, a big night for people who love to get out, take in some live music, really for the entire city of Fort Myers. The River District Music Festival opening up right now, goes all weekend.
Yeah, the event is off Hendry Street in downtown Fort Myers, right near the Luminary Hotel. And that's where we find Fox 4's Colton Chavez tonight.
And Colton, this event goes all weekend long, and it sounds like it's getting a little bit closer to being normal right there downtown.
I mean, what's more normal than the smell of delicious food, live music, and crowds of people all throughout this area, just really starting to fill up an area that was completely devastated by Hurricane Ian.
You can use these.
All right, thank you very much. It's hot and sunny out there. Katie Walls and Andrew Shipley can probably tell you this nice man just came by and gave me his sunglasses. So let's get back to this really cool event, unlike I'm sure how I look with these sunglasses on, but we're right here on Edwards Drive. There's a stage behind me playing live music right now. If you're gonna come down, as you heard, you're gonna need to have tickets to be able to do that. So there's a ticket, and that's how you buy food, that's how you buy drinks. There are different food vendors here. There's a bar set up you can see just behind me, and really we talk about this sense of normalcy, and it's amazing to be able to see the downtown area thriving like it is. So stick with us, because coming up tonight on Fox 4 News at 10 o'clock, I'm bringing up the question nearly 6 months after Ian, how does the community feel to have events just like this one back here in downtown Fort Myers? I'll have that story for you later tonight. But for now, live in downtown Fort Myers, Colton Chavez, Fox 4.
Colton taking in the sunshine, the music, and the unexpected hospitality down there just outside the Luminary in the River District. As Fox 4 certified meteorologist Katie Walls now joins us. Another great sunset there we see.
You can't beat it. 7:41. That's when we will be seeing the sunset. In the meantime, you'll want those sunglasses. You'll want those shades, just as Colton experienced. So tomorrow into Sunday, do remember the sunglasses and also the sunscreen. That can really sneak up on you. But here we are, live look right now at Tarpon Lodge. Some of our neighbors getting ready for that beautiful sunset as the kids are outside playing. Temperatures, of course, today very, very warm today. And even right now, they're still above the average high for this time of year. Normally, we should be hitting highs around 82 degrees, but instead we all hit highs in the mid to upper 80s. And now we're still sitting at 83 in Fort Myers, 86 in Immokalee, 85 right now in LaBelle. Currently Clewiston, still 87 degrees. Meanwhile, Naples and Punta Gorda, we've dropped to 82. But regardless, it's going to be a fairly mild evening for those of you heading out. Clear skies are expected, and we will continue to see the dry conditions as well. We'll drop into the mid-70s right around 9 to 10 o'clock, then into the lower 70s by 11 toward midnight. Heading into tomorrow morning, we'll start things off with a mix of clouds and sun. A little bit more sunshine expected right around midday, and also heading into the afternoon, you'll start to notice those southerly winds increase. It will be a bit gusty. At times, we'll have some gusts tomorrow, upwards of 20 miles per hour. if we could squeeze out an isolated rain shower, that would likely be in our inland communities. So across Hindry into Glades is where we have the best chance for a 20% chance for a passing rain shower. Otherwise, the rest of us will stay hot and dry through the day on Saturday. Heading into Sunday, we'll start things off with some areas of fog, so heads up for Sunday morning. There could be some areas of reduced visibility. Otherwise, Sunday, not quite so breezy, but it's going to be even hotter, if you can believe it. Most of us will be hitting highs on Sunday in the low to mid 90s. And yet again, if we can squeeze out an isolated rain shower, that would be in some of our interior communities just because of a little bit of a sea breeze trying to kick up. But unfortunately, a healthy soaking rain that we could use, not in the cards. On the flip side, great weather for weekend outdoor plans. So overnight tonight, we'll drop towards 68 degrees in Fort Myers as well as Cape Coral, 66 for Immokalee and LaBelle, 70 degrees tomorrow morning in Naples. As for those high temperatures tomorrow, we're calling for a high around 89 degrees in Fort Myers, around 90 for Immokalee, LaBelle, 92 our expected high in Palmdale. A little cooler for Naples, moderated by the Gulf there with that wind off the water, 86 degrees. Marco Island looking for a high around 82. And if you want those hotter temperatures, just wait until Sunday. Lower 90s are forecast. Lots of sunshine, not quite as windy. And then for your Monday, looks like it's going to stay pretty toasty as well. Could see a passing shower on Tuesday. Otherwise, next week, looking mainly dry and pretty toasty into even Friday.
Today's the first day of the reopening of the store after Hurricane Ian. I was 2 blocks from the beach, off for 9 years in Bonita Beach Road. My building completely filled up with water. I lost everything. My wife has brought up things that happened that day, and I have no memory of it at all. I still do it old school, write it out. I probably had 20 times as much stuff in my other store that got got destroyed. So all this stuff in here actually came from 4 collections that I bought. I had a huge personal collection, and I got married, and my wife wanted it out of the house. So that's actually the reason I opened the first store. I hear that almost every day. People come in and tell me, oh, I had this when I was a kid, and then my mom sold it at a garage sale and didn't tell me or threw it away. So yeah, most of my clientele are actually people from 20 to 50-year-olds coming back in and buying back what they had when they were kids.
Phenomenal, Jason.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. Glad to see you back.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. And I'll see you later. Thanks, man. The reason I reopened pretty much was because of the community and my customers sending me positive messages all the time and everything. I did construction and teaching, and this is like I'm not really working. Erica paused and she said, "Isn't that your store?" And before the surge even came up, it was already like 3 feet up to the window, and I knew it was going to be gone because the surge hadn't even hit. I was actually listing my house and going to move back up to Iowa after the hurricane and teach again. But with all the positive support I got down here, I thought, still on it? Cool. Just get it in my head that I might be able to restart this, because I thought with everything I lost, I'd never be able to do it again.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
Don't, not a word. Yeah.
It's been a rough couple months. Yeah.
It's a good day. It's a really good day.
That's nostalgia powerful, even for video games.
Happy to see them back. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you at 10.
Detectives descend on a Cape Coral neighborhood tonight after 2 people were found dead inside of a home today.
We don't normally have any issue.
The latest on the still active investigation into the mysterious deaths.
And the solution for dirty water in Charlotte Harbor may be clams. Why the county says dumping millions of clams there could clear things up.
And a Naples man is still a national fugitive tonight, 11 days after the FBI raided his home. New phone calls obtained by Fox 4 Investigates are helping us learn what agents were looking for.
Live
Live from Southwest Florida, you're watching Fox 4 News at 6.
We have a lot of breaking news at the top of Fox 4 News at 6 tonight, so thank you for joining us. I'm Nadine Yanis.
And I am Chris Earl. We start off with what we've been tracking in Cape Coral since this morning. Fox 4 has had a crew present in this neighborhood where police confirmed finding a man and a woman inside of a home.
This is right off of Southwest 12th Street near Skyline and Pine Island Road in Cape Coral, and that's where Fox 4's Caitlin Knapp has been since this morning. And Caitlin, we know that detectives were there. We see the crime scene tape still behind you. What do we know tonight?
Well, really beyond that, we don't know much other information coming from the Cape Coral Police Department. We do know that a man and a woman were found dead inside this home that you can see is still wrapped with crime scene tape. But again, very few details have been released from the Cape Coral Police Department as they investigate. Here's what the scene looked like a few hours ago. Crime scene tape had been surrounding this home since 9 this morning. Saw investigators walking in and out with evidence bags, taking pictures of the entire area. Beyond what I saw, again, no other details about what exactly happened are known. A neighbor tells me he drives by the house and usually sees the garage open with the gentleman inside working, but nothing out of the ordinary.
I don't really see anything too different from the normal going on over there anytime I pass it. So it's really quiet over here. We don't normally have any issues.
The landlord of the home showed up and gave us a little bit of insight, telling me that the tenants have always paid their rent on time, have lived here since November, really never having any issues. But to be clear, we do not know the identities of the people found inside of the home, whether they are the renters here or if they were just at the home visiting. Again, not much information is known at this time coming from the Cape Coral Police Department. We are hoping to get more details over the coming days. Once we do have that information, we'll be sure to bring it to you. Reporting live in Cape Coral, Caitlin Knapp, Fox 4.
Thank you, Caitlin. Now looking at this situation you're seeing coming at you, southbound traffic on I-75 North Fort Myers near the Lee-Charlotte County lines. It's coming from a brush fire. The Florida Forest Service says the fire is about 10 acres, about 20% contained, but look at the impact in both lanes of traffic on I-75.
You can actually just see the plume of smoke impacting visibility, and it is causing traffic backups really at the worst time possible. Friday afternoon, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, we are taking a now look at the Fox 4 traffic sensors that do show the slowdowns on I-75 again near mile marker 146. That's North Fort Myers, just on the Lee-Charlotte County line. Several mile backup here, as we just saw on those traffic maps. So if you know anyone maybe headed south through Lee County, you want to tell them to avoid this way. And, you know, obviously we'll keep an eye on this because visibility low in that area.
One of the situations, maybe if you can take 41 to get around it, but if you're on 75 to North Fort Myers and Punta Gorda, you will encounter this.
And this is something that we have been keeping a close eye on. We know that we've been in a drought situation here for several weeks as we bring in certified meteorologist Katie Walls.
That's right, and unfortunately those severe drought conditions continue to worsen here across Southwest Florida. Latest data in yesterday now showing most of us in that severe drought, and where we're not, we're in moderate drought. So when we're talking about brush fires, we're especially focused on the wind gust, and anytime those winds gust above 20 miles per hour, that's cause for concern. So it's not much of a surprise that we did see what was just a half-acre brush fire quickly spread to 10 acres right there at Slater Road and I-75. So if we look right here, some of those peak gusts ranging anywhere from 16 to 24 miles per hour. If we interpolate the two, we can estimate those peak gusts right there, right around 20 miles per hour. So that's going to be a big hindrance as our firefighters continue